In the heart of Harare, in the affluent suburb of Borrowdale, lived a prominent businessman, Tawanda Mugari. His sprawling mansion was a testament to his success, boasting beautiful gardens, a shimmering pool, and a household staff that ensured everything ran smoothly. Among them was Chipo, a young housemaid from the rural areas of Zaka, who had come to the city in search of a better life. Chipo was diligent and respectful, always keeping to herself and performing her duties with quiet efficiency. Despite her humble background, she carried herself with an air of dignity that caught Tawanda's eye. Tawanda, though married, found himself drawn to her. He would steal glances at her during the day, his thoughts increasingly preoccupied with her. One evening, after a late business meeting, Tawanda returned home to find his wife, Maureen, already asleep. The house was silent, save for the distant hum of the city outside. Unable to quell his desires, he decided to visit Chipo's quarters. He knew the risk but felt a compulsion he could not control. Quietly, Tawanda made his way through the darkened corridors of his mansion. His heart pounded in his chest as he approached the small, separate building where Chipo stayed. He moved silently, like a predator stalking its prey, careful not to wake any of the other staff or his wife. Chipo, however, was not entirely unaware of Tawanda's interest. She had noticed his lingering gazes and felt a growing sense of unease. That night, a strange premonition kept her awake, and she listened intently to the night sounds, her heart pounding with an undefined fear. Tawanda reached her door, hesitating for a moment before gently pushing it open. Chipo, hearing the faint creak, pretended to be asleep, her back to the door. She felt a chill run down her spine as he entered the room, the faint scent of his cologne confirming his presence. "Chipo," he whispered, his voice trembling. "Chipo, wake up." She stirred, turning slowly to face him, her eyes wide with a mix of fear and anger. "Mr. Mugari, what are you doing here?" Tawanda stepped closer, his intentions clear in his eyes. "I couldn't stop thinking about you, Chipo. You're always on my mind." Chipo sat up, clutching the blanket to her chest. "Please, Mr. Mugari, this is not right. You have a wife, and I am just a maid." But Tawanda was persistent, his desire overpowering his sense of decency. As he reached out to touch her, the door suddenly burst open. There stood Maureen, her face a mask of fury and betrayal. She had woken to find her husband gone and had followed him, suspecting his infidelity for some time. "Tawanda, how dare you!" she screamed, her voice echoing through the night. "In our own home, with our own maid. Have you no shame?" The commotion roused the other staff, who gathered outside Chipo's room, whispering amongst themselves. The scandalous scene was too much to ignore. Tawanda, caught in his shame, tried to stammer an excuse, but Maureen would hear none of it. She turned to Chipo, her eyes still blazing. "Pack your things and leave this house immediately. I cannot have you here." Chipo, tears streaming down her face, tried to protest. "I did nothing wrong, madam. He came to me." But Maureen's mind was made up. In the harsh reality of the situation, it was easier to blame the vulnerable maid than to confront her husband's betrayal. "Leave," she repeated, her voice cold and final. Tawanda tried to intervene. "Maureen, please. This isn't Chipo's fault." Maureen turned on him, her voice cutting like a knife. "Save your excuses, Tawanda. We will deal with this later. For now, I want her out. Defeated and humiliated, Chipo gathered her few belongings, her dreams of a better life in Harare shattered. As she left the mansion, she cast one last glance at Tawanda, who stood there, the weight of his actions heavy on his shoulders. The staff watched her go, their faces a mixture of sympathy and fear. They knew that in this world, the powerful could easily crush the powerless. Tawanda's indiscretion had cost Chipo her job, but it also left a scar on the Mugari household that would not easily heal. In the days that followed, the scandal spread through the community, whispered about in hushed tones. Tawanda's reputation suffered, and Maureen's trust in him was irreparably damaged. The mansion, once a symbol of success and prosperity, it now stood as a reminder of a night of shame and betrayal. Chipo returned to Zaka, carrying with her a painful lesson about the fragility of her position and the harsh realities of life. But in her heart, she vowed to rise above the injustice she had faced, to build a future where she would not be at the mercy of others' whims. As for Tawanda, he was left to confront the wreckage of his actions, a man brought low by his own desires. The path to redemption, if it existed, would be long and arduous, marked by the memories of that fateful night. The story of Tawanda, Maureen, and Chipo serves as a powerful reminder of the consequences of unchecked desires and the importance of respecting boundaries. It highlights the vulnerabilities of the less privileged and the heavy cost of betrayal and dishonor. In our interactions, we must uphold integrity and fairness, remembering that our actions can profoundly impact the lives of others. If you enjoyed this tale and want to hear more stories that reflect the rich and diverse cultural heritage of Africa, please subscribe to our channel, Timeless African Tales, TAT, by Wellington Shava. Don't forget to follow, like, and share our content to support our mission of bringing African folklore and lessons to a broader audience. Thank you for being part of our community. Was it fair for Maureen to send Chipo away, or should she have confronted her husband about his infidelity? Share your thoughts in the comments below.